A billionaire walks into an art gallery and sees a painting that stops his heart. But it's not the art that changes his life forever. It's the woman who painted it. Her name is Sophia, and loving her will either cost him his empire or give him something worth more than all the money in the world. This is the story of a love so powerful it made a man choose between everything he had and the only thing that mattered. Stay with me until the end, because what happens next will restore your faith in true love. If you're already captivated by this love story that's about to unfold, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment sharing the most courageous act of love you've ever witnessed in real life. Your engagement fuels these powerful stories. Also, tell us where you're watching from around the globe. Now let's dive into the story. Let me tell you about the night that changed two lives forever. It's raining hard in downtown Chicago. Inside the most expensive art gallery in the city, rich people are sipping wine that costs more than most folks make in a month. The walls are covered with paintings worth millions. And there, she stands. Her name is Sophia Cooper. She's got skin the color of warm honey, eyes that sparkle like stars, and talent that could move mountains. Tonight, her paintings hang on these fancy walls for the first time in her life. She's wearing a green dress that cost her 3 months of tips from her waitressing job. But tonight, it's her armor. Sophia grew up on the south side of Chicago. Her mama cleaned houses for rich families. Her daddy worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. But Sophia had a gift. She could paint pictures that made people feel things they'd forgotten how to feel. Now, here she is, watching millionaires pretend to understand her art while they gossip about stock prices and vacation homes. "Excuse me," that voice. Deep like thunder, smooth like expensive whiskey. Sophia turns around, expecting another fake compliment from another fake person. Instead, she's looking into the bluest eyes she's ever seen. This is Carter Blake. Even if you lived under a rock, you'd know that name. Tech genius, youngest billionaire in America, the man who built an empire before he turned 30. His face is on magazine covers and business shows. But those pictures, they don't capture the loneliness in his eyes. "Your painting," he says, pointing to her biggest piece. Swirls of gold in midnight blue she calls "Dreams Don't Die." It's incredible. Sophia's back goes straight. She's heard enough fake praise tonight to last forever. "Thanks, but you don't have to." "I'm not being nice," Carter cuts her off, never taking his eyes off the painting. "I've been staring at it for 30 minutes. It's like it's speaking to me in a language I forgot I knew." Something in his voice makes her really look at him. Under that perfect $1,000 suit and the confidence that comes from running billion-dollar companies, there's something else, something broken. "What's it saying to you?" she asks, surprising herself. He's quiet for a long moment. Sophia studies his face, the strong jaw, the way his dark hair falls just right, and the tiny scar above his eyebrow that make him look human. "It's saying, 'Some dreams don't die,'" he finally says. "They just hide in the dark, waiting for someone brave enough to bring them back to life." Those words hit her like lightning. In all the months she worked on that painting, through every frustrating night and every moment she wanted to give up, nobody had ever understood it like that. "Sophia Cooper," she says, holding out her hand. "I know who you are," he replies, taking her hand. His touch sends electricity through her whole body. "Carter Blake, and I want to buy your painting." "It's not for sale." The words fall out before she can stop them. Around them, conversations stop. In this world, everything has a price. Everything can be bought. Carter smiles then, and it changes his whole face. "Good," he says. "The best things never are." If you're loving this story so far, smash that like button. Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. 3 days later, Sophia's in her tiny studio apartment, paint under her fingernails, when her phone rings. The number's not one she knows. "Miss Cooper, this is David, Mr. Blake's assistant. He'd like to meet with you for lunch." "About what?" He didn't say, but he's asked me to make reservations at Alinea. Are you free tomorrow at 1? Sophia looks around her cramped studio apartment. Paint cans everywhere, a window that barely opens, a ceiling that leaks when it rains. Alinea is the kind of restaurant where lunch costs more than her rent. Tell him to meet me at Lou Mitchell's on Jackson Street instead. 1:30. There's a pause. I don't think Mr. Blake has ever. Then it's time he did, Sophia says, and hangs up. The next day, she's watching through the diner window as a black Tesla pulls up. Carter Blake steps out, looking like a movie star who wandered into the wrong neighborhood. He stands on the sidewalk for a moment, taking in the old-school Chicago diner with its neon sign and the construction workers having lunch on the corner. When he walks through the door, people notice. Whispers start. This is Sophia's world now, and she's the one in control. Miss Cooper, he says, sliding into the booth across from her. Interesting choice. The apple pie here will change your life, she says, watching his face for judgment. She doesn't find any. I'll have to try it. He picks up the plastic menu like it's the most natural thing in the world. I wanted to talk to you about an offer. I told you, my painting's not for sale. I'm not talking about buying your art, he says, leaning forward. I'm talking about you creating something brand new. Sophia sets down her coffee. I'm listening. Blake Industries is building a new headquarters, 60 floors, the biggest building in Chicago. I want you to create all the art for it, every single piece. The words hang in the air between them like a bridge neither one is sure they should cross. That's, Sophia swallows hard. That's millions of dollars. Yes, it is. Why me? There are famous artists who, because, Carter says, his eyes intense. I don't want art that just looks pretty. I want art that makes people feel something real. Art that tells the truth. Your truth. The waitress comes over. Betty, who's been working at Lou Mitchell's for 20 years and treats everyone like family. What can I get you, sweetie? She asks Carter, and she watches his whole face light up when this middle-aged black woman calls him sweetie. The apple pie, please, and whatever she thinks I should try. Betty grins. Oh, I like this one, Sophia. You picked a good one. After she leaves, there's an awkward silence. She thinks we're... Sophia starts. I know what she thinks. Carter's voice is careful. And that doesn't bother you? People think a lot of things about me. Most of them are wrong. What bothers me is if it bothers you. Their eyes meet across the table, and something shifts. The air gets charged, electric, full of possibilities and danger. The job, Sophia says, forcing herself back to safer ground. I'd have conditions. Name them. I work alone. I choose what I paint, and I won't change my vision to make your rich friends comfortable. Carter smiles that amazing smile again. Miss Cooper, making my rich friends comfortable is the last thing I care about. Drop a comment and tell me, would you take the job? And let me know what city you're watching from around the globe. 6 months later, Sophia is in Carter's private elevator, going to the top floor of his current building. In her hands is a tablet with sketches for what will be the biggest art project in Chicago. But that's not why her heart is pounding like a drum. Over the past months, their business relationship became something else, something dangerous. Phone calls that started about paint colors and ended with Carter telling her about growing up with parents who loved his success more than they loved him. Coffee meetings that turned into dinners where Sophia shared stories about her grandmother's hands, worn from decades of hard work, still creating magic in her tiny garden. He'd come to her studio, standing quietly while she painted, never trying to fill the silence with words that didn't matter. She'd sit in his business meetings, watching him handle rooms full of powerful men who looked just like him, but somehow seemed smaller. The attraction between them was like fire, hot, bright, impossible to ignore. But neither one had said the words out loud. Not yet. The elevator opens into his office, all glass and steel, softened by carefully chosen art. None of it, Sophia notices, was made by anyone who looks like her. "You're late," Carter says without looking up from his computer. But she can hear the smile in his voice. Artists don't do on time.
He laughs, and that sound always does something to her chest. A flutter, a warmth, like coming home. "Show me what you've got." Sophia puts the tablet on his desk and starts flipping through images. The lobby will have Legacy, panels showing forgotten heroes who built America. The top floors get Unity, abstract pieces about how different voices make us stronger. Carter studies each image carefully, asking questions that prove he gets it, not just how it looks, but what it means. "And this one?" he asks, stopping at the last image. Sophia's breath catches. It's her most personal piece, a painting of hands, black hands and white hands, working hands and soft hands, creating something beautiful together. "That's for your private office, if you want it." Their eyes meet, and all the feelings they'd been hiding for months become real and scary and beautiful. "Sophia," he says, his voice rough, "we need to talk about what's happening here." Before she can answer, his office door flies open. In walks Stephanie Sterling, Carter's ex-fiancée and the daughter of his biggest investor. She looks like she stepped out of a magazine, all blonde hair and designer clothes and attitude. "Carter, darling, I hope you don't mind me dropping by." She stops when she sees Sophia. "Oh, I didn't know you were busy." The way she says busy makes it clear what she really thinks Sophia's there for. "Stephanie," Carter's voice turns ice cold, "we agreed you wouldn't come here anymore. Daddy's worried about your new building project. All this social justice art nonsense. The board thinks you're making bad choices." Stephanie's eyes look Sophia up and down like she's something dirty. "Maybe we should talk privately." "There's nothing to talk about," Carter says, standing up, "and Miss Cooper stays. She's the artist creating the installation." Stephanie's laugh sounds like breaking glass. "Oh, Carter, always trying to save the world. But some people just don't belong in places like this, no matter how much you want to pretend they do." The words hit Sophia like a slap, but before she can speak, Carter moves around his desk. When he talks, his voice has the kind of power that built empires. "You're right, Stephanie. Some people don't belong here. You don't belong in my office. Security will walk you out." "You'll be sorry," Stephanie says, her perfect mask finally slipping. "When the board sees what you're doing here, mixing business with whatever this is, they'll never stand for it." After she's gone, the office feels like a battlefield after the smoke clears. "I'm sorry," Carter says quietly. "She had no right." "But she wasn't wrong, was she?" Sophia's voice is steady, but Carter can see the hurt in her eyes. "People like me don't usually end up in places like this." "That's exactly why you belong here," he says, stepping closer. "That's exactly why things need to change." "Is that what you are to me? Your way to change the world? Am I your diversity project, Carter?" The question hangs between them like a blade. "No," he says, his voice barely a whisper. "I'm the woman I'm falling in love with." If this story is giving you all the feelings, hit that subscribe button right now. We're just getting warmed up. The story breaks 3 days later on every news channel in America. Blake's billion-dollar mistake, tech mogul's romance with unknown artist, could cost him everything. Sophia stares at her laptop in her studio, reading the article that's turned her private life into public entertainment. The photos are everywhere, her leaving Carter's building, them sharing lunch downtown, her hand briefly touching his as they looked at paintings together. But it's the quotes from sources close to the company that cut the deepest. Carter's always been reckless, but this crosses every line. Blake Industries can't be associated with this kind of scandal. The art commission was obviously just an excuse. No real artist gets paid those kinds of fees. This is what happens when you give someone power too young. He thinks he can rewrite all the rules. Her phone's been ringing all morning. Reporters, friends, family who saw the news. She's ignored them all. Until Carter calls. Sophia, we need to meet. There are things I have to tell you. I think I've heard enough. Not from me. Please, 1 hour. Meet me on the roof of my building. Just trust me one more time. Against every smart thought in her head, she goes. The roof garden is Carter's secret place, green grass and flowers high above the city noise. He's standing at the edge, looking out over Chicago, his shoulders tight with stress. The board met this morning, he says without turning around. They want me to cancel your commission. And us. And what did you tell them? Now he turns, and she sees something in his face she's never seen before. Fear. Real fear. I told them no. I told them if they don't like my personal life or my business choices, they can find a new CEO. Sophia's heart stops. Carter, you can't what? Choose my own life? Decide what's right? Love who I want to love? But you could lose everything. Your company, your money, everything you built. He walks towards her, his eyes burning with intensity. What I built doesn't mean anything if I can't be myself, if I can't love you. But I'm not worth... Don't. His voice cuts like steel. Don't you dare say that. Don't let them make you believe their lies. He takes her face in his hands, his thumbs wiping away tears she didn't know were falling. I love you, Sophia. Not because you're my good deed or my rebellion. I love you because when I'm with you, I remember what it feels like to be real, to be human, to want something more than money and power. Sophia. He loves how you argue with me when you think I'm wrong. He loves how you see beauty where other people see nothing. He loves how you made me eat at Lou Mitchell's and didn't laugh when Betty called me sweetie. He loves how your art doesn't just hang on walls, it changes hearts. He presses his forehead against hers. I love you. And if loving you costs me everything else, then everything else wasn't worth keeping. For one moment, Sophia lets herself believe it could be that simple. That love could beat board meetings and newspaper headlines and hundreds of years of people like her being told they don't belong in places like this. Then her phone buzzes, a text from her little sister. Sophia, there are reporters outside Mom's house. They're asking the neighbors about our family. Mom's scared and won't come outside. Reality crashes back in. I have to go, she whispers. Sophia, wait, but she's already running to the elevator, back to the ground. Back to the real world where love isn't always enough. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if you were Sophia? And don't forget to let me know where you're watching from. 2 weeks of silence between them feels like forever. Carter throws himself into work, but he can't focus on anything. Every decision feels meaningless without Sophia's voice in his head, pushing him to think deeper, be better. The colors in his office look gray. Food tastes like cardboard. Even Chicago itself feels empty. He's tried calling, texting, and even showing up at her studio. But Sophia's disappeared, and with her, the light that was growing in his perfectly controlled world. The board, meanwhile, smells blood in the water. Carter, his father says, walking into his office like he owns it, we need to talk about your future with this company. Richard Blake is everything Carter once thought he wanted to be, successful, respected, completely in control of his emotions. Now, looking at him, he sees only emptiness in expensive suits. There's nothing to talk about. The Sterling family is pulling their investment, Stephanie's father thinks you've lost your mind, the other board members are questioning everything you do. My mind has never been clearer. Really, you're willing to destroy everything our family built for a woman you've known less than a year? Carter stands, walking to the window that looks out over Chicago. Somewhere down there, Sophia's painting, creating beauty while the world tries to destroy her. What if I am? He says quietly. Then you're not the son I raised. The words are meant to hurt, but instead they set him free. Good, Carter says, turning back to his father, because the son you raised was empty inside, successful, rich, and completely empty. I won't be that man anymore. His face hardens. Then maybe it's time someone else ran this company. Maybe it is.
They might have kept fighting, but Carter's assistant knocks hard on the door. Sir, you need to see this. It's about Miss Cooper. The news video is shaky, shot on someone's phone, but the picture is crystal clear. Sophia stands outside a community center on the south side, paint on her clothes and fire in her eyes, facing down a reporter with a microphone. "Miss Cooper, what's your response to your relationship with Carter Blake?" "I'll tell you what I think about people who decide who belongs where based on skin color or bank accounts," Sophia says, her voice carrying the strength of every woman in her family who fought for their place in the world. "So you're saying this relationship is real?" Sophia's laugh is fierce and proud. "I'm saying Carter Blake is a good man who sees people for who they really are, not what they look like or where they come from. And if that scares you, if love scares you, then you're the one with the problem." "But surely you understand how this looks. It looks like America in 2024. It looks like the future. It looks like two people who found something real in a world full of fake." The reporter pushes harder. "What about people who say you're only with him for his money?" Sophia steps closer to the camera, her brown eyes blazing with fire that captured Carter's heart from day one. "I fell in love with Carter Blake when he stood in front of my painting and saw not just colors, but the dreams of every person who's been told they don't matter. I fell in love with him when he came to my neighborhood and treated everyone with respect. I fell in love with him when he chose truth over comfort, justice over profit." She pauses, and when she continues, her voice is softer but stronger. "And if loving him makes me a target, if standing by him makes people uncomfortable, then so be it. Some things are worth fighting for. Some people are worth fighting for. Love is worth fighting for." Carter is moving before she finishes talking, grabbing his keys, his jacket, leaving his father and the board meeting and the company that suddenly seems less important than getting to the woman who just declared war on the world for him. He finds her exactly where the news filmed her, teaching art to kids who gather around her like she's the sun. She looks up when his shadow falls across her easel, and the smile that crosses her face is like sunrise after the longest night. "Took you long enough," she says. "I came as soon as I saw the news. Sophia, what you said was the truth." She stands up, paint on her cheek, more beautiful than any work of art. "I'm done hiding, done being scared, done letting other people decide what my life should look like." "Even if it means dealing with all this?" he asks, gesturing toward the cameras still filming, the reporters still shouting questions. "Especially then." She steps closer to the camera, her brown eyes blazing with fire that captured Carter's heart from day one. "I love you, Carter Blake, all of you, your brilliant mind and your generous heart, and yes, even your stubborn streak that makes you think you can fix the world by yourself. We can fix it together." "Together," she agrees, and when he kisses her right there on the street, surrounded by kids and cameras and the weight of history, it feels like revolution. We're almost at the end. If you're loving this story, please hit subscribe and share it with someone who believes in love that breaks down walls. 1 year later, the Blake Cultural Center rises 60 stories above downtown Chicago, its glass walls reflecting the city's endless energy. But what happens inside makes it truly special. Sophia stands in the main lobby, watching people move through the space she transformed. Children press their faces against interactive displays telling stories of forgotten heroes. Business people stop in front of paintings that challenge them to see strength in struggle, beauty in difference, and hope in change. "What are you thinking about?" Carter appears beside her, looking perfect in a suit that costs more than most people's cars, but somehow seems less important than the smile he wears when he looks at her. "Just thinking about how far we've come. It's been a year of battles. Board fights that made national news, investor meetings that tested Carter's determination. Media attention followed them everywhere. Stephanie Starling launched a campaign to destroy both of them, questioning everything from Sophia's talent to Carter's ability to run a company. But it's also been a year of victories. The Cultural Center became a model for how businesses can do good and make money. Sophia's art has been featured in museums across the country. Carter proved that a company can be profitable and principled, that diversity isn't just right, it's smart business. And through it all, their love got stronger, deeper, unbreakable. Sophia Cooper Blake, Carter says, testing how it sounds, still perfect. She laughs, touching the engagement ring that caused its own media storm 3 months ago. Not because it was expensive, though the vintage setting cost more than most people's houses, but because it represented something the world was still learning to accept. Love without limits, partnership without apology, a future where difference is celebrated, not just tolerated. Wedding planning is making me crazy, she admits. Your mom wants fancy champagne, my mom wants fried chicken and sweet tea. The wedding planner looks like she's going to quit every time we meet. Let's elope, Carter says suddenly. Tonight, right now, we'll fly to Italy, get married at sunrise, spend a week eating pasta in bed. For a second, Sophia's tempted. It would be easier, simpler, away from the circus their wedding has become. But then she looks around the lobby, at kids learning about heroes who look like them, at adults discovering new ways to see the world. No, she says firmly, we're not hiding anymore, remember? We're having a wedding that celebrates everything we are, everything we built together. And if people don't like it, they don't have to come. I love when you're fierce, Carter murmurs. You love me when I'm anything. True. They're interrupted by voices, Betty from Lou Mitchell's arm in arm with Carter's grandmother, arguing about wedding cake flavors. Behind them comes Sophia's mother, elegant in her Sunday dress, and Carter's father who surprised everyone by becoming Sophia's biggest fan after she painted a portrait of his late mother that captured not just her beauty, but her spirit. There's our happy couple, Betty calls out, her voice carrying the authority of someone who's decided to adopt them both. We're here for the final wedding walkthrough. The next hour is beautiful chaos. Decisions about flowers and music and where to seat people who somehow matter more than hostile takeover attempts. But watching their families blend, seeing his grandmother teach her mother how to make his favorite cookies, while Betty tells his father stories that make him laugh until he cries, Sophia understands this is what they've been fighting for. Not just the right to love each other, but the right to build something new. A family that looks different from what people expected, but is stronger because of those differences. As the sun sets over Chicago, painting the sky gold and crimson, Carter and Sophia find themselves alone on the roof garden where they first talked about the future. Any regrets, he asks, sitting beside her on the bench they had installed among the flowering trees? About which part? Falling for an impossible billionaire? Agreeing to marry him in front of 1,000 people? Or letting him put my art in a building where half of Chicago can judge it? Any of it? All of it? Sophia's quiet for a long moment, thinking. This year tested them in ways she never imagined. There were times when the pressure felt crushing, when the criticism cut so deep she wondered if love was enough. When she questioned if she was strong enough for this life, if she belonged in his world. But then she thinks about the little girl who visited the center last week, staring up at Sophia's painting with wonder, whispering to her mother that she wanted to be an artist too. She thinks about the emails from young people around the world who said seeing their love story gave them hope. She thinks about how Carter looks at her every morning like she's the miracle he never dared dream of. No regrets, she says finally. Even when it was hard, even when people were cruel, even when I was scared, no regrets, because this love, what we built together, it's bigger than just us. Carter takes her hand, their fingers fitting together perfectly. His wedding ring, simple gold that matches hers, catches the last light of day. A year from now, when you're Mrs. Blake complaining about board meetings and charity galas and reporters who won't leave us alone, I'll still love you, Sophia finishes. Even when you're Mr. Cooper Blake, complaining about paint on your expensive suits and art supplies taking over your perfect office? Forever? Forever and then some. As night falls over Chicago, they sit together in their garden above the world, two people who chose love over fear, truth over comfort, each other over everything else. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new critics, and new reasons why their love wasn't supposed to work.
But tonight, surrounded by the beauty they created together, they're simply a man and a woman who found something worth fighting for and refused to let go. In the distance, the city lights twinkle like stars, each one representing a life, a story, a possibility. And somewhere among those lights, other couples are falling in love across lines that are supposed to divide them, creating their own revolutions, one heartbeat at a time. Their love story is just beginning, and it's gonna be beautiful. If this story moved you, if it made you believe in love that defies expectations, in the courage to choose your heart over society's rules, in relationships that refuse to bow to prejudice, I need you to do 3 things for me right now. First, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because stories like Sophia and Carter's, they're exactly what this channel is all about, and I've got so many more emotional journeys waiting for you. Second, give this video a massive thumbs up. It helps more people discover these stories. And honestly, doesn't the world need more reminders that love really can conquer all? And third, this is the big one. I want to hear your story in the comments below. Have you ever faced seemingly impossible barriers for love? Have you ever had to choose your heart and what seemed practical? Have you witnessed love triumph over prejudice? Share your story, because your experiences inspire the tales I tell. And this community we're building, it's all about celebrating the power of love in all its forms. Also, let me know, what part of Sophia and Carter's journey hit you hardest? Was it their electric first meeting at the art gallery? The diner proposal that changed everything? Stephanie's cruel interruption? The rooftop love confession? The media storm that tested them? Or their final triumph against all odds? I read every single comment, and your reactions help me craft even better stories. Until next time, remember, love doesn't see color, doesn't count bank accounts, doesn't worry about what society thinks. Love just sees hearts that choose to beat together, no matter what the world says about it. Keep believing in love, keep fighting for what matters, and I'll see you in the next story. This is your storyteller reminding you that every great love story starts with 2 people brave enough to write their own ending.